Coverage of the National Hockey League tonight has us in venerable Chicago Stadium in snowy Chicago, Illinois. And joining me is the Chicago Blackhawks first-year head coach, Bob Murdoch, who was Bob Johnson's assistant for 5 years in Calgary. And now that you've got half a season under your belt, I imagine you have a pretty good feel for the biggest difference between being a head coach and being an assistant coach. Maybe you could enlighten us.
Well, I think it's the work, Bill. You know, even though as an assistant I was aware of all the work that was involved, and you know, I put a lot of hours in. Once you become the head coach and you have all that responsibility, you have to make sure everything is done and done properly in your way. It's just the number of hours you put in. The workload is that much greater.
Is it true that the key to coaching is keeping the 10 guys who hate you away from the 10 guys who are undecided?
Well, I think it's very important that you have your key members liking you and playing for you. You know, I know when I came here, a couple of our key players, Rick Vibe and Dennis Savard, Steve Larmer, it was essential that I got them in on my side. And so far it's worked out pretty well. You know, the key players are having good years. We're having a problem with injuries this year, but the key players are playing well.
I remember Bob Pulford over the summer being quoted as saying that when he was asked, well, Bob Murdoch doesn't have any head coaching experience, and he pointed out that one of the things that Chicago Blackhawks had to do better this year was concentrate on their special teams, and that at least has worked, has it not? You've improved in those areas.
Yes, we have. We've made significant improvement. We've been at the top or near the top in power play all year. At one point we were tearing the league apart with it, but then we lost Doug Wilson, who was a quarterback on our power play, and since that time we've been experimenting, but it's still going pretty well. We're scoring at a 25% clip, which is very reasonable, and that was our objective at the beginning of the year. Our penalty killing was one of the top units for the first 30 games, but the last 5 or 6 games we struggled a little bit, and I don't think it's the system or the effort. I think it's just the goals are going in right now, and we're just going through a little bit of a dry spell, and once we get through with that, it'll be all right.
How about the defensive end of things? That seems to be an area that would probably bother you, being a good defensive defenseman when you played, and the Chicago Blackhawks just can't seem to get it together defensively.
That's true, Bill. We've struggled. We're leading the league by far in shots against, and I'm sure if you're taking scoring chance opportunities, we'd be leading the league in that as well. Our goaltenders have been excellent this year. Darren Pang and Bob Mason have played up to their ability. They played very well. They've won a lot of games for us. The problem that we're having is as a team playing defensively. Our defense are not moving the puck the way we can. Our forwards are not checking the way we can. I'd hope that we'd have better progress, you know, before now, but we're still struggling with that end of it. And I see daylight at times, but it's been a tough go, and we just have to continue to work. We have to improve.
Very briefly, in a couple of words, are the Detroit Red Wings in sight? Can you catch them?
Sure, no problem. We play them 5 more times this year, but we're not concerned with what the other teams are doing in our division, even though every night you look at that out-of-town scoreboard. We're concerned with what the Blackhawks are doing and the progress we're making. You know, as I mentioned earlier, we had some injuries. We brought along a lot of young kids along. They've improved. I think the Blackhawks are going to be a better team because of it, you know, in the long stretch. I think once we get into that February and March stretch, we'll have some of our injured players back. Some of the younger players through the experience will be better players, and the Blackhawks as a team will be a better hockey club.
We'll be watching you. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bob Murdoch, head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, and we'll be right back after this.